The Riley County and City of Manhattan governments will enter an official agreement to split costs for aerial surveys. On Thursday, Riley County commissioners signed their part to formalize the deal, which in the past has only been a verbal agreement that the city would reimburse the county for its portion of the survey costs. Corey Mayer, County Director of IT and Geographic Information Systems.
This year I decided that we put together a multi-year agreement in our flights. You can see that these flights right now, they carry all the way out to 2029.
The county continues to own the contract with Eagleview Technologies for pictometry, an aerial survey technique for creating maps via imagery from above. The aerial surveys will help both governments boost their geographic information systems. Kansas Senator Jerry Moran held his first hearing as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Veterans Affairs this week. Moran laid out his priorities as chairman of the committee.
My work on this committee is almost always driven by what I hear from veterans, particularly at home in Kansas, but also across the country. We'll hear from a lot of veterans organizations as well. This is about how do we make the VA work better? What is it doing well? What is it not doing well? How do we solve problems that veterans face in this country? As chairman, I will work to solve problems and deliver results to help veterans access health care and benefits they've earned and achieved in their success in their service.
The first hearing was dedicated to the confirmation of former Georgia Congressman Doug Collins to be the Secretary of Veterans Affairs. Moran laid out what he wants to see in that position.
We must have a VA secretary who understands the VA mission, help refocus the department to put veterans first, and who recognize the importance of the VA in serving veterans and contributing to a safe and successful future for our nation. I'm grateful to have Congressman Doug Collins here today to testify about his nomination to be the Secretary of Veterans Affairs.
The committee later voted 18-1 to send Collins' nomination to the Senate floor for a full vote. Throughout the history of Kansas, the major political issues of the nation have always been a forefront in the state. Whether it be abolition or the abortion debate, Kansas has consistently been a hotbed for politically charged issues. Michael A. Smith is a professor of political science at Emporia State and the author of Reform and Reaction, the Arc of Kansas Politics, and he says that going forward, issues like managing the state's water will play a big role in whether or not Kansas can govern in this era of hyper-partisanship and culture war issues.
In this culture war era, can Kansas make politics function? Can a nonpartisan issue like managing the state's water get around the culture war and even get passed in a bipartisan way? And Kansas's future may depend on that.
Smith's book focuses on the arc of Kansas politics since 1960. Speaking of the Kansas House, a bill proposed is seeking to remove people who are not U.S. citizens from the state's voter rolls through temporary driver's license records, invoking concern for potential disenfranchisement of Kansas voters. A Kansas Secretary of State's office official said the records are, quote, the best tool we have to identify voters who are not U.S. citizens, of which the true number in Kansas is unknown. About 38,000 people in Kansas have active temporary driver's licenses as of December. Of the state's more than 2 million voters, state officials found 202 potential matches. When comparing a temporary driver's license list and the voter rolls, about 120 of those were false positives, and 85 warranted additional investigations. About 21 of the 85 have a voting history attached to them and would require even further investigation to determine citizenship status. More on the day's headlines can be found at our website, newsradiokman.com and themercury.com.
The new year is the perfect time to start fresh. So why not make it delicious? Start your day with Bob's Red Mill 100% whole grain oats. One simple ingredient with endless possibilities. Whether you're a sweetness savorer or a good health guru, with Bob's Red Mill, you can have a naturally delicious breakfast made your way. So savor your mornings with premium oats, perfected by nature and made to be shared. No matter how you top your oats, you're always welcome at our table. Look for Bob's Red Mill oats in the blue bag.
Good morning, I'm Troy Coverdale with your sports headlines. The Manhattan High boys suffer a loss in their first-round matchup at the McPherson Invitational, falling to the home team 78-53. That drops the Tribe to the backside of the bracket, where they will match up with Lawrence Free State this afternoon at 4:35. Coverage on News Radio KMAN gets underway at 4:20. The Manhattan High girls are at home tonight for a non-tournament affair. The 5-3 squad will match up with Blue Valley Stillwell. Coverage of that contest to follow the boys as the tip-off is at 6. Both Wamego teams with their first-round games at the Salina Invitational yesterday. The Red Raider boys suffering a 73-33 loss to Andover. They'll face Abilene tonight at 7:30. The Wamego girls took a first-round win over Salina Central, 38-34. They'll meet Andover in the semis this afternoon at 3. The Rock Creek boys are no longer unbeaten. They suffer a lost to St. Mary's 61-55 in the semifinals at the Nemaha Central Thunder Classic. The Mustangs will play for third place at 1 tomorrow against Troy. The Rock Creek girls improved to 6-1 behind a 59-34 win over Santa Fe Trail in a round robin at Royal Valley. They'll match up with Chapman today at 3:30. For the Riley County teams, they're back in action at the Trojan Classic in Hillsboro. On the consolation side, Riley County's boys to take on Clay Center. The girls meet Heston at 3. And in the Twin Valley League tournament yesterday, the Blue Valley girls suffer a 65-44 loss to Clifton Clyde. They'll play for 7th on Saturday against Lynn at 11:30. The boys play a consolation game at 6 tonight against Donovan West. Both Frankfort teams are on the consolation side as well at the TVL tournament. The girls to take on Washington County at 4:30. The boys to face Lynn at 7:30. The K-State women put their unbeaten Big 12 mark on the line when visiting Colorado tomorrow afternoon. The Cats have won their last 5 away from Bramlage, part of a run that has reached 14 games overall. They'll be taking on a Buffs team, though, that has gone 9-1 at home thus far this season. Tip time tomorrow at 2 with coverage on Sunny 102.5. Coverage on News Radio KMAN will be dependent on Manhattan High boys basketball at the McPherson Invitational. The K-State men are back at Bramlage following their loss at Baylor on Wednesday, trying to end a 6-game slide when they take the floor against West Virginia tomorrow at 5. Coverage on News Radio KMAN will follow K-State women's hoops play-by-play. The full broadcast can be heard on 101.5 K-Rock starting at 4 tomorrow. Finally, it is Conference Championship weekend in the NFL. The NFC game getting underway at 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon as Washington and Philadelphia tangle for the third time this season. That's followed by the AFC title game, the Chiefs bidding for a third straight appearance at the Super Bowl. They'll take on the Bills at Arrowhead. Coverage on News Radio KMAN of both games on Sunday. Have a great day. I'm Troy Coverdale.